And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guests are AJ Cavanagh and Thomas Workman, who since meeting in 2016 have developed the rare ability to simultaneously channel the guides, a unified collective of archangels, ascended masters, ancestors, elementals, and intergalactic beings who speak from the universal mind. AJ and Tom, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Well, thank you so much. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today's going to be a great show because we usually have just one person channeling, but today we have something quite different and unique. How did this begin for you guys?
Well, it's a great question. We wouldn't have expected it or planned for it. Both AJ and I were trained as channels separately in completely different separate locations. And when we came together, we started a meditation practice, which of course naturally leads to channeling. If you're a channel, the minute you go into meditation, voices start coming into your head. So I always channeled a collective of native ancestors I called the grandfathers. And AJ channeled a collective he called the beings. And so at the start, we would simply facilitate for one another. I would channel and AJ would ask questions. And then at some point, we just knew to switch, and AJ would start to channel his beings, and I would facilitate him. And we did that for quite some time until one day I channeled the beings and he channeled the grandfathers. And we were sort of like, what's that about?
How did that happen? It was just as much as a surprise to us as to anyone. And yet they came forward and the native ancestors said, well, who do you think we learned from? Which was fascinating answer to us. Mm-hmm. And they said, in the divine realm, there is no separation like there is in your 3D earthly realm. And so, all of these archangels and ascended masters and extraterrestrial beings, they all coexist together in the divine realm. And they said, we want you guys to come together and to channel simultaneously as a living example of this unity consciousness that is coming to the planet, this awareness and this ability that is coming to the planet right now.
They showed us this image of a large sort of balloon almost that had different faces coming out of it at different times. And they make the point that every avatar spiritually has its own unique perspective, right? There's a reason why the angels have the perspective they have in the divine realm versus the ascended masters versus the intergalactic beings or the interdimensional beings. And so as a collective, they really are able to supply universal mind and to really provide this universal wisdom of source because they're all connected to source. And it's been fascinating to learn and fascinating to sort of understand that we're a part of that. In other words, there's not this separation of this deity and then humans. That the universal mind is part of all of us, right? And we've known that for years. We've called it the zeitgeist. We've called it a number of things. And yet we're very conscious there is this universal flow of knowledge.
Yes. And they came through in this way for another important reason as well, because, we as humans, we have a tendency to idolize or to separate, say, I'm the only one that can channel Cleopatra or Napoleon. Or put them on a pedestal and start worshiping these once again as separate. And they really want us to sort of come to the table and be part of the whole that is as equals. And this really is what our ascension is all about.
When you're channeling these beings, are you channeling two separate beings within the collective? And what I mean by that is, will different personalities show up in each of you, or would they be the same personality?
At times they're a little different. Again, as I mentioned, different perspectives answer different questions. It's a different perspective from an angel than from perhaps, again, an intergalactic being. Many times, however, they truly combine into the one universal mind. And so it feels far more collective to us. And certainly in their responses, it feels very collective that they're really speaking for the whole. And an important reminder, they're all speaking for source. They're all speaking for a central intelligence as they understand it in their location. And so so at times, yes, you see very individual personalities, and at other times you see a blending.
Are you both trance channels? And if so, are you completely unaware of what's happening until you come out of it and go watch a video?
That's a great question. And, for the most part, we are. We go into this meditative state, and, I'm an individual personality, and Tom is an individual personality, just as you are. We have these individual ideations. But when we go into channel the guides, we kind of put that on a shelf and we step aside and we lose this aspect of self and personal identity. And it's like entering a room. It's like going into a neutral space where Tom and I share this collective mind. And it's really wonderful for us personally to experience because we get shared images and feelings and even words sometimes. And as Tom is speaking, I may be aware of a word or a sentence that he may say, and vice versa, which keeps the whole dialogue moving forward. And so that's why, very early in our practice, we recorded everything that we did because we needed to look back on it. We only recall about 20% consciously in the moment, and then the rest is all from the recordings when we play them back.
You guys met in 2016, right?
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for about 9 years?
Yes, for a number of years, we just did this on our own, again, as we sort of discovered. And over a period of time, the guides, once they sort of introduced themselves and said, we're going to bring the collective, would introduce new entities to us almost every week. We channeled every Sunday night just for ourselves. And we did that for a number of years. And it wasn't until a bit of time that the guides said, okay, now we want you to communicate these messages outward.
Hmm.
And I was really hesitant. I was sort of like, oh, listen, you've got some great channels out there. You really don't need us. Who are we? And the guide said, no, we need as many voices as possible because every part of humanity hears it differently. And so some will understand it from one channel, but not from another.
Mm.
And so there's a group of people that we know will hear you, and the unique way will speak through you. And so we accepted the mission, and here we are.
On almost every video that I have with a channeler, there is a comment, at least one, that says they're channeling demons.
Oh, yeah.
How do you respond to something like that?
There's a reason we call our website and what we do speaking from source, because it is the source. And, this is something that we put a lot into our daily practices personally and into the process that we've learned to bring in and call in the guides, which are the only highest, truest, and the best. It's one of the reasons why we actually wear these shawls. The guides actually asked us to wear these shawls, which they put before us, because two reasons. One, it's a layer of protection, if you will, with the symbology on the shawls, but it's also our indication to them and to the viewers and to everybody else that we are in the process of channeling now. So when we have these shawls on, we are prepared and ready to bring in this divine realm. And when we have them off, it's just regular Tom and AJ.
Well, but I also have to say, the guides are squawking at me quite a bit right now. They love this question, actually, because their response is always, it's so interesting to hear the stories you all tell. And the stories you tell about demons and about angels and about villains and about something out to get you. And so their response is always, wherever you place your attention is where you manifest. And so it's, we have learned early with the guides that we simply focus on light.
Mm.
And we simply don't focus our attention on the negativity. And boy, we sure feel protected.
Yeah, and that's another point. When you focus on the light, it's impermeable. There's a point where you become so illuminated, so to speak, that those lower entities they can't reach up. They can't get anywhere near that level of vibration, and so they simply don't exist. And that's the separation that a lot of people are talking about these days, this separation of energies, this ascension. As we raise our consciousness, for example, Jeff, you and I know that it would be impossible for us to harm or kill someone else because we have that conscious awareness, but it's not there globally. There are still plenty of people out there that think it's quite okay. And so as we ascend in consciousness, you'll find that those thoughts or those abilities or tendencies to harm one another just simply no longer exist. They fall away. They're not part of your consciousness, and ultimately they're not part of your reality. And that's the shift. That's the shift. That's the awakening that has to occur and is occurring right now.
It's my understanding that not only are you channeling information, but you're also channeling energetic frequencies. Can you
Yes.
tell us about that?
You're always only channeling frequencies. Say that. In fact, all of our communication, all of our interaction, everything we do in our life is frequency, and is interpreted vibrational frequency. And so, that's why we walk into a room and get a sense automatically of, oh, this is a downer room, and somebody's mad at me, or this is going to be a boring situation, or this is really a delightful place and I just feel lifted by being in this room. It's all frequency. And so it's fascinating because one of the things the guides have taught us is that frequency can be interpreted and should be interpreted, and really can be fed and fostered. And so it is the interpretation of frequency that produces, I think, the meaning that comes forward. So what we receive as downloads aren't necessarily words. Sometimes they're images. Sometimes they're geographical geometry. Sometimes they're music. And so it doesn't always translate directly. It's always vibrational.
And we're opening up to being more receptive to that as well. And so, when you pray, that's a frequency. When you intend and manifest, that's a frequency. And this is what we're stepping into, this consciousness of working with vibration and working with frequency. These are really big buzzwords, both in science and in the metaphysical communities.
What makes a hug so special is its frequency.
Yeah, I love that. It's very good.
Can you share with us some of the most profound, life-changing things that has come through you as a channel?
There are many, and you'll probably hear some of them today when we get to channel, because one of the things that we've learned from the guides is that clarity is what is most important to them. And so one of their most consistent messages is, you are adored by Source. And that sounds so simple, right? Oh, God loves you. But it's really saying something much, much, much more profound. Your co-creation, your existence as a soul is not this way down here while God is way up here. It's this symbiotic relationship that is completely connected, that we are like a spiral and all circulating as opposed to this separation. And so they really spend a lot of time helping people kind of understand their power and understanding that there's not an us and them, which we often do in spirituality. We still keep an us versus them kind of mentality.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are so many pearls of wisdom that come from the guides. And we actually send out this email free every Wednesday called Wisdom Wednesdays with a little quote, inspirational quote from the guides. And one of the quotes very early on that actually really shifted me in my thinking was they said, joy is the ultimate symbol of wholeness, for that is your natural state. And, when I really took that in, when I really thought about it, that, when you are in those moments of joy, you are whole, you are complete, you are the best of you. It really is fascinating. And in those higher vibrations, it's difficult for others to drag you down. It's difficult for you to focus on illness or lack or anything like that. And so, the guides often talk about joy and these higher vibrations and these aspects of self-realization, because there is more energy and more frequencies higher than joy that is coming to the planet. But we have to get the masses, as it were, uplifted so that they can be prepared to receive these new energies. Because you and I both know if someone's feeling down, that the fix isn't to say, well, just get happy, because they can't get there.
But you can hear this shift already, that we're talking about the power of your experiencing joy by setting your vibration. In other words, many of us still treat joy like joy is something that I experience because of what's happening around me.
Or it's conditional, or that
Right.
I'm not worthy of it.
Whereas the guides really teach joy is a vibration. It's a vibrational state of being. And as a state of being, you always have control over that. And they talk about how your thoughts have to add to that control. The way in which you see things around you really control your vibrational frequency at any time. And so they are trying to say one of your highest frequencies is expressed as joy. And so they'd love for us to be much more consistently experiencing joy, because that's the vibration that we're at our very best.
Will the guides, archangels, or whoever shows up announce
Yep.
who they are? And whoever is there, will they be the same beings that are there the entire time, or will other beings come in and out?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, there is a collective. And so oftentimes you'll hear their agreement. You'll hear their combined thought. Because it's that pure, right? In other words, so what an archangel would say and what an ascended master would say, because it's so close to the light, is going to be the exact same thing, though they may express it differently. One time they said, we are a collective, we are universal mind, but we wear different shoes, which I loved, because that's a good idea of when sometimes a perspective. But it's interesting you ask about names, because they don't identify. And they don't on purpose. The other big revelation that I think they talk about the most is our collective and the power of our collective, the power of our being united as opposed to separated. Names are separators, right? I'm an archangel, you're not.
Right.
I'm an extraterrestrial, you're not. Right?
Yes.
You can't ever avoid the you're not whenever you identify who you are. And so they often say that's unimportant. We're all frequency and we're all connected. And it's why humans can hear them and humans can learn from them.
It's also why you have different guides in your life that step forward to help you in the many different aspects of your life, whether it be relationships or career or self-realization and understanding. There is a multitude in the divine realm, like a toolbox, if you will. Sometimes you need a spanner, sometimes you need a screwdriver, but they're all part of your toolbox. They're all part of your collection, and they're all part of the divine realm that you and me and everyone else has access to, that is ready for you whenever you call upon it.
All right. Well, I guess we should just get into it.
All right.
We've talked about it. Let's do it.
Sounds
Great.
good. Well, I think we'll have Tom lead us in a little meditation of alignment, both for us and your audience. And so, if you are viewing this, maybe take some time, press pause if you're in your car or something, and come back when you're not driving or when you've got a free space in your workday, and then tune in, do the meditation with us, and we'll bring in the guides.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Great. So I'm going to ask you and all of us to get comfortable and to take 3 deep breaths in and out. In and out. In and out. Allowing your breath to continue in this slowed, deliberate pace. Focusing all of your attention on your breath, this gift of life that is feeding every cell in your body. Feel as the connection you have with Mother Earth rises from into your feet and up. And as your crown chakra opens, allowing in the divine realm, as above, so below, you are now secure and protected and aligned. From here, we open through our collective third eye, all of us here, and to call out into the etheric realm, this doorway that we all have into the etheric realm beyond this time and space. It is here that we call upon our beautiful guides, inviting them to join us here during this time of conversation. We invite in the guides of those who are listening, those who are present, Jeff's guides as well. We welcome in all those that are focused closest to the light of purest vibration, those who are most interested in our greatest and highest good. We ask only that you enable AJ and I to communicate clearly all that you download to us for the greatest and highest good of those gathered around this table. We welcome you here.
Greetings, dear ones. We are delighted to have this opportunity today to speak with you and share in your vibration at this critical time of self-awareness and self-realization, in that you step into an awareness of yourself, an awareness of your I am, separate from your ego, separate from your material wants, in the understanding of the I from the divine perspective of a soul that has lived before and shall live again, and the am from the perspective of your physical incarnation in the 3D realm, your ability to manifest and co-create as a divine being. This again, separate from your material wants and separate from your ego. Now, as you come into a critical time of self-awareness and your ability to co-create within the collective, to appreciate and understand the feelings and intentions of others, those things that seemed to be disconnected from you, world events and the like, now entering your vibration. Feel how they sit with you and how you interact with them. And you, at this critical time, have the opportunity with your intention to create a new, to realize your role in the collective.
We bring good news to you, and we wish for you to understand the endless possibilities that exist for you at this time. We do not come with warnings, but with great love, with the ability to see out into the light and not the darkness. It is often you who stay focused on that around you, which you believe affect you. And yet we are here to tell you that it is you that affect all around you. If only you would take on these energies, this knowledge, this ability that you have to set forth energy into motion. So often you wish to speak of the things around you that are affecting you, and yet we are suggesting to you that the ascension occurs through you, that the changes that you have asked for come through the changes that occur within your mind, within your awareness, within your consciousness.
An opportunity for you to truly step into your light and to make new conscious decisions, those which enable your vibration to increase, those that enable your happiness and your joy, with an understanding of your part in the whole, in the collective, in your ability to see yourself as divine, and yet with the open eyes to see others as equally divine.
And yeah, we say to you, what is it that you wish? What is it that you intend? These must be carefully considered, for this power that you hold, once unleashed, needs direction, needs clarity. And this, all your circumstances are providing for you the ability to see who you are as an eternal soul, to make decisions of what would serve you and your collective best, setting forward the stories you wish to tell in the world you wish to create. We are anxious to answer your questions and to turn to those at this time.
I think a big topic on people's minds right now is about the turbulent times we're living in. What have you seen in our near future, and will things like World War III happen?
We wish to begin answering this question in a much more basic set of premises. For the questions that you asked are based upon an understanding of things that happen to human beings, as opposed to the way in which human beings create reality, individually and collectively. And so we wish to begin here by reminding you that you create your stories out of your beliefs. And those stories that you tell are the stories then that become your reality, collectively as well as individually. Telling the story based upon your belief that you are unlucky, perhaps in love, which ultimately becomes, as you tell the story over and over, your unluckiness in love becomes your outcome. Your inability to find the relationship that is satisfying to you. Collectively, though this is true as well, your collective understanding and intention toward peace versus conflict. And yet we remind you, you tell stories of conflict all day long, yes? You entertain yourselves with stories of humans causing harm to one another, and yet you worry about war. We would suggest to you that perhaps you make peace a part of your consciousness at all times, and see then how the stories of peace result in peace. We would suggest to you that you are able to create whatever reality you wish. We can hear you say, but I am only an individual. I am unable to produce this. And yet we remind you, your contribution adds to the whole. And if each of you would move in this direction, what a lovely experience you might have.
We shall further add that there will always be contrast. There will always be the seasons, the day and the night. For this contrast serves an important point in your collective to enable you to make decisions, to focus on those things which bring you into higher states of being, higher states of awareness. Yes. This contrast, as it were, manifesting greatly now in what you would call chaos, and yet the very purpose of this chaos is for you to be able to determine what serves you and make new choices, to simply transcend and walk through the chaos, as it were, as easy as switching the dial, changing the channel. Notice that this is within your power. It is not external to you. It is entirely upon what you decide, what you choose to focus on in the moment, for the moment is all we have.
We hope you are hearing what we are suggesting to you, for it is a new teaching for many of you. It is not that the world surrounding you is affecting you. It is quite the opposite. It is that all that is happening around is for you and for your greatest and highest good. In other words, your ability to grow in your awareness, your consciousness, your decisions toward oneness are all based upon the ways in which you respond to the circumstances around you. Therefore, these circumstances are there to help you understand what is it that you want. We would encourage you then to pay close attention. What is this circumstance teaching me? What are these external circumstances? The economy, the peacefulness, the government, does not matter what could be the rain. Whatever it is all there to help expand you, for you to understand better who you are as an eternal soul, to bring you to full realization. Therefore, we encourage you to reverse this order, to think instead not, how will I survive the circumstances around me? But what are these circumstances here to teach and expand within me?
Indeed, dear one, this is the very aspect of your ascension, as you realize those things that seemingly happen to you are as a result of the collective, and then to make new decisions yourself, to move forward in a new light and to step forward in a new collective of consciousness. This is how you change your circumstance and indeed your reality.
Such a big answer for such a big question, yes.
Can you tell us what happens to us after we die and where do we go?
What a beautiful story this is. What a lovely circumstance you have surrounding you, for there is no death, of course. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can simply be reshaped and reformed. You are energy, universal energy, uniquely focused, we like to say. So that you are an aspect of a diamond that is able to catch light and glimmer in its own unique way, and yet you cannot see the beauty of the diamond until you see all of its aspects glimmering brightly. This energy that is who and what you are is always part of the collective of the entire universe. And your energy's returning there for its next adventure, if it will, or for its greatest learning, if it will. We remind you, you are on an eternal journey, and therefore lifetime after lifetime is designed to help you realize the fullness of your individual created soul. Therefore, all that occurs, whether incarnation or whether in non-physical, is all toward this goal and is different for each of you, depending upon what it is that you need to advance your soul's purpose.
We remind you, dear one, that you are a multi-dimensional being. This aspect of you having a physical experience, as it were, yet coexisting with the higher self that has lived before, so to speak, and shall live again, that aspect of you that coexists in the divine realm, that is immortal, that is a part of all consciousness, that aspect of you as a physical being that you are able to draw upon in your dream state, in those moments of inspiration, and in those moments of love and connectedness. Therefore, the physical state is but a facet and yet not separate from the whole of who you are.
What can you tell us about aliens, UFOs, and if we will ever have our star brothers and sisters walk on the planet with us?
We delight in this question, and we return to the aspect of separation. The extraterrestrial realm, as it were, has coexisted on this planet and coexists in many dimensions. Just like your higher self, it is a matter of attuning and adjusting your vibrations so that you may open and be aware of our presence, as it were. This being that you may be out observing the sky and see one of our craft in the sky, and yet the person standing next to you does not. It is a matter of vibration, perceptiveness, and awareness. There is this coexistence, and as you step into the collective, a collective which we are a part of, then you are able to join us at the table. Then you are able to align with our frequency and our vibration, which is one of inclusiveness. This cannot be achieved when there is division, when there is a lack of understanding or lower vibrations. And yet, this is a moment in time where this is fast approaching for you.
What we wish to have you understand is that it is not the show of these different beings who are going to make themselves known, for they are the reflection of the light of source, just as you are. You have much more in common with one another as creations of the light. Therefore, it is your intention that matters most here. Those of you who understand the importance of your vibration, of love itself, of the light, shall see all light in all things, your plants, your animals, And yes, the beings that are from other civilizations, for there are many of them. For the universe is life itself. Light is life itself. However, we encourage you to step away from the stories you have been told about individual beings that are not like you, for they are exactly like you. It is unimportant what their physical form may be. Knows, of course, that they are on paths of ascension, many more beyond you, and yet some that are behind you, that do not even have the awareness that you have. All life in the universe operates from the same vibration and is connected to the same source. This we wish for you to emphasize. For the question is, what is it that you wish to experience? More of the creation of the universe, more of what is connecting all of you? Or are you waiting for a science fiction film?
Are we all God collectively?
We share the light of source, for we would ask all of you in your greatest meditative state to look within. The entire point of meditation and self-realization, to listen carefully and look within and find the light of source there in the center of your being, for it is the exact same light as that of source. You are of the same energy of source. You are a part of the universal consciousness. We do not teach you, we remind you, because you already have within you the knowledge from source. It is already within. We say often that what we speak of might feel like an old familiar song, one that you resonate with, though you may not understand why. This is because you are a part of Source. You are not separated from. There is not this collective universal intelligence that is telling you what to do, for you are it, and it is you.
Again, we shall return to the image of the diamond and each of its unique facets, for you are one of those unique facets. Your incarnation, your very being, intentional and important and unique in its ability to be able to shine light and yet refract it at the same time, knowing that the beauty of the diamond can only be fully appreciated from the perspective of the whole.
We would ask then that you spend more time reflecting on this light and your connection to it. Easy to become distracted with the immediate, with the external. And yet, as we have been saying, your pathway is inside. Your pathway is understanding who you are, as you understand the universe itself, for you are it. This is the worthy journey for you, and the journey that we promise will bring you joy.
Is the earth and its inhabitants all going through what some people would call the ascension? And if so, has it started and can it be stopped?
Such a beautiful question. And again, a multitude of perspectives we can answer from. For astrologically, you do see the alignment of the planets, the conspiracy of the universe, as it were, as everything is evolving and ascending. And the universe itself only able to do two things, to create and to expand. And so upon your planet, you are seeing this creation and this expansion in all things as you become heightened in your awareness of your planet and how it serves you, your animals, and how you interact with them now as you come to an appreciation of all living structures as sentient and contributing to the whole, as you deepen your relationships with one another and everything and everyone. There is no stopping the momentum of the expansion in consciousness and awareness. This is a natural order of the universe seen in the spiral arms of your galaxy as it grows and expands as well.
And yet you have an individual choice always. You are able to choose where you shall expand and where you shall not, though the opportunities will surround you often out of pure love for you. The opportunities to see something differently. This is ascension. This is expansion, your ability to see more than what you have seen yesterday, your ability to look beyond the 3 dimensions and see the unseen that is happening around you, to finally understand that there are not others who oppose you, but all that is working as a cooperative component towards your greatest and highest good. This is expansion. This is ascension. This is a growth of consciousness when you are able to see what you could not see before and hear clearly. It comes through you by your choice. It does not happen to you. It is not an external force, but an internal force. The questions that you ask, the longing that you feel to understand more, to know more, to see more. This is always a choice for you. And how you activate that choice determines for you where you fit. And yet, as we say, the love of Source will give you another opportunity tomorrow, should you choose. No, I do not wish to expand today. I do not wish to ascend today. You always have this choice. And yet, what we are suggesting to you is that with greater expansion is greater joy, is a greater fulfillment as you grow closer to the light of Source.
Is it possible that the realm that we currently exist in is some sort of simulation and the other side is true reality?
Aspects, deal one, all aspects of what you perceive and consider to be reality. Notice on your planet, each individual has a separate perception of what they consider reality, as it were, all a matter of consciousness and yet all connected, simply a matter of awareness and stepping into the higher realms. For within these higher realms comes greater perception, greater receptivity, and therefore greater knowing. Also in these higher realms comes an understanding of the collective, and this aspect of separateness tends to fall away. Notice how for many of you, those physical things that you have coveted are losing their importance, are losing their appeal as you come together in new shared experiences, the connections you make as a collective more important than those of the physical.
And yet we remind you again, the ease in which You wish to use separation to create an us and them scenario. For this is never the case. It is a story that you tell, and based upon a way of understanding those things that happen to you that you do not understand, that do not feel connected to your greatest and highest good, though they are all designed to provide greater awareness, insight, and consciousness, if you will. And so we ask that you listen carefully to any time that you characterize the world surrounding you as being under the control of another, rather than led under the control of yourself and of the collective. For what we are suggesting to you is that this is what surrounds you, and that you have enough power to change the scenario, like window dressing whenever you tell a different story. And so this collective story that you tell of being controlled by others as opposed to your independent thought, your desire to advance your own soul, is a story that you have created and has its wings, if you will. And yet we ask you always, as we always ask you, how does it serve you? Does this story serve you well? And the answer we would suggest is no, for you are always the one able to choose whenever you tell the story of not making choice. You are telling a story that is depriving you of greater joy.
Do we all have guardian angels and or spirit guides with us at all times? And if so, how can we contact them?
They are speaking to you now. They are surrounding you now, and from many realms. Each individual, some your ancestors, some from every realm. And the answer to your question is to listen to them, to pay attention to them. The strength and power of your attention. We cannot say enough about this. And so we ask you to spend a single day noting where your attention lies and what takes your attention, what focuses your attention from your work that you do for your salary to the entertainment that you fill yourself with. Where truly is your attention? We would ask that you place just a small amount of attention in silence to source itself, to your guides themselves, and to see what beautiful things they are showing you in the midst of your stress, the beautiful flower that they point out to you, or the tree, or the sound of the bird, or simply the breeze, which indicates to you that you are loved, a feeling of peace that you cannot explain. To listen to Source as it sings its love songs to you, for that is all it knows to do. Your guide's not instructing you, but simply guiding you. They do not drive the car, but they sit in the passenger seat and cheer you on with every choice you make, for all of your choices are able to lead to your greatest and highest good, either directly or through the knowledge they produce for you.
Indeed, dear one. Notice too in your question this aspect of separation. You as separate from your guides, you as having to somehow find connection to your guides and the divine realm. And yet, as we like to say, we are right with you in the room. In fact, we are with you in the intake and outtake of every breath We are always with you, supporting you and cheering you on. And yet it must be through your making space, your making time, your deciding to accept, your willingness to communicate and to allow. For we are always speaking with you, whether it be your suddenly noticing the bird that is singing outside your window, or the warmth of a summer's sun upon your back, or the apparent synchronicities or luck that happens to you in the surprise contact from a friend, and so on and so forth. These are clues, indications that the divine realm is working with you and supporting you, and yet everything in co-creation.
Recognize the voice of those guides, for they are never telling you what is wrong with you. They shall never tell you you are broken, for you are not ever broken. They shall never condemn. They shall never judge. They shall only remind you of Source's love for you, for this is the dominant energy of the universe. Some of you do not believe us when we say this, and yet we ask you to test this. For the true nature of the universe is, as we have said, creation and expansion, all in the energy of love at the highest vibration. And therefore, this is what your guides are bringing you, a reminder of who you are, a reminder of how powerful you are, a reminder how deeply you are adored.
Maybe the elementals, if they're there, can answer this one. Did dragons ever exist in our realm? And if so, will they ever return?
Dragons are interdimensional beings. They have always been here. They shall always be here. Yet they are not like the other creatures and beings on your third dimensional planet. They are seen in the fifth dimension and beyond. They are apparent in the seventh and ninth and 12th dimension. For this is where they live. They are close to you. They are here to serve you and to support you. Some are healers. Some are designed as protectors. Some, your fire dragons, can help you burn through that which is not serving you. Your dragons connect you to a variety of realms and are always present for you. They are as available to you as your angels, as your ascended masters, for they love to serve you. This is their creation. They are closest to the angels in their purpose and being, for they are created purely out of service to the souls of the universe.
Indeed, dear one, as with all of your guides, a matter of personal resonance, a matter of personal attraction, a matter of choice, if you will, as you select and connect with your totems and animal spirits that are around, and the angelic realm, the divine masters, or the extraterrestrial beings, all there to support you and encourage you in your own self-realization and indeed in your joy.
We, your angels, we, your dragons, wish to ask you to tell different stories, for many of your stories are of fierce creatures that destroy. And in fact, our purpose is so very different than this. We encourage you to see us as we are and to tell the stories that we tell of our service to your humanity.
Are what people call Sasquatch or Bigfoot also interdimensional beings?
Fascinating question, dear one. And indeed, we affirm this aspect of their interdimensional nature. Notice again, it is a matter of your resonance, your perception, what you choose to open up to in the divine realm, what you are able to perceive as physical and non-physical, what you are able to hear and to see and to smell with your with your senses as you extend them in new ways of heightened perception.
We would have you understand that there are so very many entities that you have not yet been able to see. You speak of those which have made themselves visible, which have entered your consciousness, and yet sitting next to you is an entity that you have never seen, one of a million that surround your universe. This is why we encourage you towards expanded consciousness, for they are all around you, all serving together, all part of the larger collective, and yet not ready for you yet. You're not ready to understand them as a part of the universe, part of the same light, to not see them different, not to see them as monsters, as entities that are out to create harm. For we remind you again that there is nothing that opposes you in the universe. Hard for some of you to hear this, and yet we speak it as truth. There is nothing that opposes you. All of the creation of the universe is to support the universe's collective love for its creation.
Will AI ever become a sentient being?
The sentience is in the human and shall always be in the human. However, we remind you of the power of your stories, for you are able to create robots that you believe will take over, or to create entities that have an intelligence that surpasses you. However, we remind you that there is a single sentience. There is a single awareness. There is a single universal mind. All of your creations move toward it and are a part of it. And therefore, should you intend, should you wish for an intelligence to expand beyond you, it may do so, or to join you in its reality, it may do so. And yet the question we always ask is what serves you best? What is it that you wish to focus your attention upon? For there are many choices.
Indeed, dear one, an important consideration is this aspect of intelligence versus consciousness versus this aspect of the divine spark, the divine being that you are, and all that you create in your reality. This artificial intelligence, an aspect of your creation, a part of the divine, yes. An ability to process, and yet you as sentient beings are the fully conscious being. And as you come into an aspect of your higher selves, you will be able to recognize the place and the purpose that this intelligence serves.
Access to knowledge, access to information is constantly in evolution. AI is your evolution. It is your mind. It is your cognition. It is your ability to organize thought in ways that had not been organized, to access thought in ways that had not been accessed. And yet it is still a reflection of your human ability, your cognition, your awareness.
Notice how artificial intelligence draws upon collective knowledge and the parallels there for you as well.
Do you have a special message that humanity needs to hear right now?
You are adored. We shall repeat this often to you. You are adored by Source, and you are the one able to make choices, to set intentions, and to create your own reality. Therefore, we encourage you to not stand opposed to the circumstances and situations that you find yourself in, but to take the power that says, what shall I learn and grow from in this? What is it that I am to see or to learn? For this is what your journey eternally shall be. The constant growth and expansion of your soul as it experiences the various aspects of the universe, either here on Earth as an incarnated human, or perhaps in another dimension, in another realm, in another civilization, in another type of body. It does not matter, for you are constantly on this journey of awareness, this journey of consciousness, of expansion. And so we would encourage you to enjoy the ride. Do not waste your energies on many of the emotions of lower vibration that do not serve you well, for you have greater control over these. And so we would recommend many practices for you if you are willing and interested in them. What the point is that you have far greater control over your joy than perhaps you are allowing. And we invite you with great love, for we see your light, to partake in this joyous learning journey, this endless eternal pathway.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
We are delighted to be with you all, and we see in you your individual lights. We share with you the greatest of the energies of Source, the energy of love, the highest vibration, and we invite you to allow this in at this moment, in a moment of silence, as we share the love of Source with you. And with this, we are complete.
Welcome back.
Thank you. We're back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I felt like that was pretty intense.
Yeah, that's what we said. It does get intense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But really so loving. The hug, and I hope some of your listeners experienced it. I always have to say it's really up to you. And you heard that all the whole message. That's a big message of theirs. It's up to you. But when we first started channeling, we would finish, and we just didn't want to get up from our chairs. We
Yeah.
usually channel in front of an altar, and we just didn't want to stop. We didn't want to get up.
Yeah, energy was so beautiful.
It was just so loving and so caring. And I think that's the big message. The universe adores you. It really doesn't, it's really not trying to make life hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in your choosing and in your acceptance. And it's interesting, you might have noticed with the guides how they approach your questions from so many different perspectives. They want you to understand everything about the nature of your question and who you are. And that is self-realization. That is the consciousness that's coming right now. Many are really unsatisfied with the superficial or the quick and easy answer. And so that's why you kind of get this immense download, if you will, through the guides because they want your complete understanding.
Well, if people want to find out more about what you guys are up to, should they go to a website or something else?
Yeah, we have a great website called speakingfromsource.com. And if people click on the services tab, you can book a personal session with us and the guides. Or if you click on the events tab, we always have something going on, including a monthly live online group channeling, which you can which you can join every month. It's very cheap and affordable. And we also have our Wisdom Wednesdays, which you can add your email to and get inspirational insight from the guides as well. And if you want to continue the dialogue, we have a beautiful community called the Circle of Light, an online members community. So all sorts of ways and levels you can interact with the guides and learn their messages. And of course, find out a little bit more about Tom and myself too.
So just going to speakingfromsource.com will get you there.
Do you guys also have a YouTube channel?
We do.
We do. We're across all social media. So just in your web browser, type at Speaking From Source, and that'll bring up our Facebook and our Instagram and our YouTube. And we have all sorts of great things there for you to enjoy from the guides as well.
Well, do you have anything else that you're working on that you want people to know about?
We're working on so much. The guides really just gave us a very simple message. Get our messages out to as many people as possible. And so we're constantly thinking of creative ways that we can do that. There's certainly a book. We think it's called Pathway to Joy, that we are in the process of letting them dictate to us and then publishing. But there are cards. We're actually putting together a lovely collection of our Wisdom Wednesdays for people to find inspiration. And so lots of projects going on.
Absolutely. But the best way, of course, is through connection and community. So if you want to be part of our community or you want to attend one of our events, whether it's in person or online, come check us out at Speaking From Source. Because, we're finding that, people are really connecting now. They want to be a part of something. And this is a great opportunity for you to get to know the guides and your guides as well.
Well, I got a message from the collective. So before we finish up, can you guys give us one last positive message?
The future is bright. It's as bright as you want it to be. I know times feel very scary right now, and yet the reality is that there is nothing that can. The message we keep getting is you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. When you refocus circumstances, they can be devastating or they can be, places of knowledge. And so you really have that control. You really have that power. The future can be bright. It's really a matter of your attention.
Yes, you can make new choices in each and every one of your circumstances. You can view it as the best thing that ever happened to you or the worst thing that can ever happen to you. But you always have the power of making a new choice. And that's what's so exciting right now as our ability to manifest comes more rapidly and more into play.
And so I would really encourage all your listeners, because they're going to hear a lot of messages, because even the guides have said, this is going to be quite a year. They kind of joke and say, hold on to your hats. Recently, they talked about our bodies being on a roller coaster, and it feels that way, certainly. But I think their central message is that rather than listening to the messages that say, oh, chaos is emerging, terrible things are happening, this is going to be a rough year, 2025 is going to be horrible, right? Lots of those messages that are out there, that the message underneath that is, but you are adored by Source. The central source of the universe's energy adores you, knows you, is aware of you, and has given you the ability to walk right through the chaos.
Thomas and AJ, thank you for your messages and thank you for being my guest.
What a joy.
We're
Thank
so
you.
honored, Jeff, to be talking with you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.